All right. YouTube tells me I'm live. Pulse. Technology is so fun and so funny, isn't it? So, some note here from the YouTube. Okay. You are here with me today during at the time I'm streaming. I'd love to see a chat from you. Helpful to know you're here. Oh, Aubrey, you know what? I'm just going to take a quick look to never mind. I forgot to check my email this morning before coming on, so I don't know who's signed up. So if you're out there, thank you for being here. Thanks for registering. I will see your name afterward. And that's really adds a dimension of this to me because it's I titled this, at least the going title is Dimensions. But I will see if that's what I go with. But this is a very one-dimensional experience for me in a sense. I'm seeing myself in the in the laptop, and I'm not sure who's out there, but I know you're out there. Hello, hello. My name's Alex Levin. It's December 8th, 2024, a Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And we have about a half hour together to explore different dimensions of what than we usually do, perhaps. And come to practice together, come to practice alone with ourselves and together, and to practice presence. And this is a season of presents, gifts given on Saint Nick's Day, on Hanukkah, on Christmas. I'm not familiar with some of the other holidays, whether gifts are given in this winter time of the light getting less and less and less. But uh, it is a time of presence in that case, and also it's always a good time to reconnect with our own presence and to feel the vitality of that, the truth of that, the ever presence of that. So that's what we do here in sort of the yogic tradition, and I bring a lot of Feldenkrais in. So let's ground, and then as we ground, I'll tell you a little bit about how we'll be feeling the dimensions of ourselves that can be very much significant for a healing path, if that's speaks to you in any way, whether it's physical, emotional, relational. I've heard that these cactuses actually have three kinds: a Christmas one, a Easter one, and a Thanksgiving one. Or maybe they bloom all those times. I know this guy blooms twice, probably in the spring again. So sort of Easterish time. But it's sort of between Thanksgiving and Christmas that it's blooming this time. So have what you need nearby for Uh, you could do this practice in any way, any orientation. You can be sitting on a couch, you can be lying on your bed, you could be standing, and you can modify the positions. As you see, I need something under one of my knees, a little under my pelvis. Thank you for being here, and let's give ourselves the gift of remembering how we arrive, how we feel our presence right here on this little piece of real estate, how we feel our real state on this little piece of real estate. Full disclosure that I'm battling a few physical challenges today, congestion, so I'm letting the steam of my tea help me out there. Got some tummy issues and I fell roller skating last night, inline skating, so I got a little backache thinking, "Oi, oi, oi," but I'm happy to be here. And it's perfect practice here to feel how we can allow these sensations to move through us rather than hold on to them as our nervous system smartly does, but overly does. So arriving, notice what it feels like for you to do that, to slow down. Maybe the wheels of your mind aren't stopping quite all the way yet, maybe close. And just keep your attention on perhaps that central channel of your body, that channel that goes from just above the top of your head, even if you're horizontal and lying down, even if you're on your side and there can be a curve to it, that channel that drops down from where, as babies, we have a soft spot and then it closes up later, all the way down through the head, through the it's beginning to follow the spine. It's curves of the upper back, middle back, lower back, down into the uh, spread of the sacrum and the base for the spine, and that curve to the back, and then the tail curving in just a little bit, and then following that energy down all the way as if our eyes, you might notice your eyes could follow all the way as if to the center of the earth. Wherever we stand, sit, be on the planet, we can feel that line, that gravitational center line of us. And you can imagine that there are lines, if you drew a line anywhere, say you drew it from the shoulder or from my right shoulder down all the way, it's going in a little tiny angle, if it's going down to that same spot in the center of the earth, just like a bouquet of helium balloons is held together uh, at our fist. Imagine that fist being the center of the earth, and then really infinite lines going out to every spot on the surface of the planet. Um, and while I'm talking you through this, perhaps you're beginning to sense your breath and noticing whatever impediments you feel to the breath, whatever textures, and to begin to feel sort of the directionality of it. There's a direction of it seeming coming in through the nostrils or mouth, coming downward into the throat area and into the lungs. You might feel some smoothnesses. And at the same time, oh, one element I want to come back to as you're feeling the breath, you can concurrently feel, and that center line of gravity anchoring us to the earth. Also feel the parts of your body that touch. So, and sort of the get the feel of the dimensions of that. For me, I've got a somewhat of a triangular shape touching the ground, formed by my tail and pelvis in the back, going out through my thighs to my knees, and then a line between the knees, sides of my feet touching. If you're on a chair, the configuration of your legs might be different, the soles touching the ground, and allow in the sensation of that touch, like slow down enough. Like it's not practical in many ways for us to through the day to feel every sensation. And yet we can, with practice, let more of that in. But we can stop on occasion and just savor this connection with the earth. Same time as we feel breath coming through, and perhaps sometimes a feel of it in the nasal passages or throat. And then where are you feeling it more in the where are you feeling it in the chest and your torso and your rib cage or belly? Where does the breath touch? And like last week, but might hold our hands as little sort of satellites near the body. So wherever you're feeling the breath the most, it might be two different places that you hold the hands and sort of mirror or feel as if the expansion, the hands get to mirror that breath and pressing outward away from you on the in breath and going in a little on the out breath would be the probable, might not be that way, but mirroring the shape and the shifting of the breath shapes. And then take your hands around back. It might be a little difficult. It might be easier just to land your hands on your body, backs of your hands, and notice the breath there. And so we're getting an image of the shape. We're getting an image of the shape, the three dimensionality of the body as it expands with the in breath and contracts with the out breath. You might even get a sense to the sides. And I'm placing the backs of my fingers against my lower ribs and waist. And there's no, if you're finding judgments or if you're wondering, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be sensing? Try to let that go and just enjoy the feeling, the sensation, and just let it be easy. If you find yourself straining, let it be easier and easier. And let your hands down, and you can lift your hands again or put them on your body in any way that's helpful. And so we've had this inward feel of the space. And let's just bring our arms out, maybe out and up, and very slowly just maybe move them around as you're breathing. Imagine you could sort of push out with your arms, but also then push and reach. Open your eyes and look where your hands are, maybe with the breath on an inhale, pushing, reaching, looking farther. And it's almost as if you can feel the extent of this space that surrounds you, what one writer I read long ago called the cosmic egg. I think it was called the barefoot barefoot doctor's guide to the Tao. I love that book. I think I finally gave it away, but I just loved it. It was a little irreverent, and he would call this distance around us our cosmic egg. So you can imagine it an arm's length, roughly. Some people would say that's the size of your aura. Can imagine it underneath the ground, under you as well, this distance. And then also look to your sides and reach your eyes back, reach back. So I often do this kind of exploration of the space around us. I often pair it with listening, but notice that you're seeing shapes. I'm seeing the shapes of this stone wall that we love, this room, my animals nearby, the windows, the light, the trees, the other cat on the cat tree, and even going downward. And so reaching and seeing to the extent you can, see your hands, the objects, the living beings around you, perhaps the trees and the structures, but also knowing that that distance expands at infinity out there. And at the same time, feeling your center, feeling being right here with your breathing, feeling and reaching in the upward direction. Maybe one hand on the ground, one hand upward, a very qigong kind of movement. And then coming back, maybe letting your hands rest. But if you like, use your hands to feel these various distances we can feel. So I'm thinking again, influenced by a teacher I'm taking this short course with. His name is Raz Ori. And this lesson had us feel the the shapes of that our body took with our breathing. And he talks about what when we are in pain, and let's take for example a physical pain, but it can be like a structural, it can be neurological, it can be intestinal, gastrointestinal, it can be, but I think it could also go to emotional and feelings like grief or rage. The shape, those would be a little more abstract, but the shape where those land in your body. And so pain, for example, in I don't feel it right now, but as certain movements, I've stiffened my middle back since my because of my fall yesterday, which I'm fine. It'll be fine. But what happens is pain calls in, recruits resources of the attention of our body, of our nervous system, and it actually kind of borrows or steals those resources, and our perception of ourself changes. So what we want to do is to get a comfortable and quiet place, start to work with, excuse me, these sensory rich resources of our hands and our breath that can help us feel the true shape and see the shapes, to kind of open up and feel more of the shape, not just the physical, the painful place. And in essence, we kind of free up some of those attentional nervous system resources to reopen, as if we're opening the windows around that painful place, and then allow flow and pain, which is supposed to kind of come through, maybe land for a time, but then leave. And especially since this structural pain for me is new as of last night, I'll get to experiment with how I can really stay open around that space, stay aware through also my eyes, our eyes. So now you might bring your attention to perhaps a painful place in your body. Could be low back, could be your neck, could be your belly. And if there's an emotional one, pair it with, see if you can feel, intuit where it is in your body. And it might come easily and it might not. If it doesn't, just kind of guess. Your guess will probably be pretty accurate. And so while I've talked about my back, I'm actually going to put my hand in front of my upper belly, my stomach, liver, gallbladder area. So if your hand can come to, maybe it would be your neck, if that's where your issues are. My knees also have issues, so we probably have a bunch of choices. Just choose one. And then gently let your inner gaze come to that area as well, just gently. So everything's light, easy. If your arm gets tired, your hand, then give it a break and let it come back later. Excuse me. And then now also imagine and feel the way the wave of the current of breath. So if it's in the torso, it'll be probably easy to feel the breath there. If it's farther, more distal on the body, if it's like at the neck, upper neck, or head even, um, you might have to use a little imagination, but the breath wave, its ripple goes out to all of our body, to the skin, even to the feet, to the fingers and hands. So it is a true ripple effect of the breath you're feeling. And so if you're feeling it in your torso, you may notice yourself feeling it one area, but not the other, maybe more on one side than the other, more central, not as high up on the chest, not as low down, or maybe you feel it low in your torso, but not higher. And so I'm just giving those examples because it's okay that we don't feel them in all the spaces. The breath, that it, rather, her, perhaps him, they, and just notice and with your eyes follow, with your hand and your eyes, sort of follow the three dimensionality of the place you're observing. So for me, the upper belly area, as it sort of comes forward on the in breath and goes back on the out breath, and I can even trace it to the back body, following with my gaze, internal gaze, and feeling the expansions. I might also feel the expansion going in all directions circumferentially. And I don't know if the eyes can follow that. The inner eyes can, because they can see in all directions. And and then going in. Excuse me, I got yawns. Good, good, good releases. And so it happens to be to where I got the soreness in my back from the fall is similar to the area where I got I've got some gut issues. And all is feeling, you can just see how it's feeling now. Maybe there is pain. And I've found that it's a little challenging if you're in current pain to work with it at the same time, but it's very useful because that's actually a great opportunity to see how you can feel the breath and feel how you might be opening the windows to allow more freedom of movement. Perhaps you're successful in feeling some freedom happen, but if not, you need to just work with it a little more, practice a little more. And then slowly, when you're ready, just because of our time constraint, time has gone so quickly for this very deep body exploration, this mini, mini, mini movement with our breath, hands, eyes. And when you're ready, come to a still place. So you might choose to shift your position. Um, and if you do so, just stay with this. What I'm guessing is some deeper quiet of the nervous system that you might have gained now as we practice, and brought a lot in today. So for some of you, sometimes people report almost um, a little bit of a speeding up of the breath, and with the all this information coming in. So find the position you'd like to take for our stillness for about, it'll just be about 7 minutes. And we'll begin our meditation practice. And you can just at your leisure revisit the shape that your body is pressing into the ground beneath it. For me, again, the triangle still, but I might have shifted the shape of my legs. If you're lying on a bed or a couch, reclining, you just feel that shape, the impression you make. You might just for a moment just sense even if you've changed from our mini movement, breathing, shape, discerning practice, if now how you feel yourself, the shape of yourself, the presence of yourself. And this is a little different. I'm incorporating both something abstract and something concrete, but it is all part of the self image and the self we're aware of. We have the breathing part and the part that's observing that actually never changes. All these together. And then you might find it very easy to just segue right into feeling more of the stillness that's right here in the attentiveness of our mind and eyes and in the sensation of our body. So you can feel held by that gravitational field that we explored at the beginning, the imaginary strings coming down through, or lines coming down through the body that form a grid and support us if we lean into them. And just enter more and more into the spaciousness and emptiness, and luminosity, and timelessness that is right here and maybe a little more apparent. And if not, the very items, the very things that might be in the way of feeling that timeless, boundless presence are exactly what we can push up against to feel it. The form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Mobius strip. Relax back to the one who is observing and see whatever it is that seems in the way, even momentarily, more accurately. And therein, that combination of the seer, the seeing, and the seen is the fullness. 'If you find yourself outside of ease, know that you can tend to yourself to come back in some way. Maybe it's just a slight rounding of the spine. Maybe it's a releasing downward. Maybe it's oh, I was forgetting to breathe freely. 'Tend and tend to yourself. A few more breaths. Bring our practice to a close. I keep experimenting with ways, positions, dimensions where the bell might be heard through YouTube, but I don't think it's designed for it. So I'll keep trying. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for this practice that benefits yourself, but also benefits all those around us, close and far. And our 30 minutes is up, but I can't resist to read you this poem by John O'Donohue, one of my favorite books, to bless the space between us and the feeling of dimensions of our body. Um, this poem touches on those in a way, and I like that it's about freedom. That the title is For Freedom, which is what we start to feel more of as we engage in this recruitment of all our deep sensory capabilities to feel and tend to our pains, our joys, all our experiences. So I'll read this poem and then I'll have a few things to share of upcoming things to share. So, for freedom. As a bird soars high in the free holding of the wind, clear of the certainty of ground, opening the imagination of wings into the grace of emptiness to fulfill new voyagings, may your life awaken to the call of its freedom. As the ocean absolves itself of the expectation of land, approaching only in the form of waves that fill and pleat and fall with such gradual elegance as to make of the limit a sonorous threshold, whose music echoes back along the give and strain of memory. Thus may your heart know the patience that can draw infinity from limitation. As the embrace of the earth welcomes all we call death, taking deep into itself the tight solitude of a seed, allowing it time to shed the grip of former form and give way to a deeper generosity that will one day send it forth, a tree into springtime. May all that holds you fall from its hungry ledge into the fecund surge of your heart. Oh, I haven't read this in such a long time. Reminded of so many images and juxtapositions that are so beautiful here. Thus, may your heart know the patience that can draw infinity from limitations. So I might chew on some of his poems this next upcoming month. I think I was promised to dip into Pima Chodron. I get all over the map, but in any case, wanted to let you know I'll be teaching one of the tune-ins on the 20, oh, let's see, on the 31st, I think, on the is it the 31st? Well, check the schedule. I have to check my own schedule. I think it's the 31st. Um, or maybe it's the 24th. I forget now. Um, it's 10 a.m. in Arlington, and do check our schedule for what's available between the sessions. And I'm not sure if the session ends on the 22nd or 23rd. If it's on the 23rd, we'll meet then. If not, I'll just see you next Sunday. Of course, we're here on YouTube in memoriam, and you can check those videos. But so I need to check that schedule. I'll let you know next week. And do check our schedule. Lots of fun stuff going on. This afternoon, I don't know if I'll get to it, but there's a artists talk at the Arlington studio. And maybe Michelle's workshop is this afternoon in Fairfax. I'm not sure if that was yesterday or today. And anyhow, Thank you for being here with me in community. And again, I'm sorry I didn't check to see who's here in person to call you out, but I'm so glad you are here. And I look forward to our next meetings and enjoy feeling as you move through your week the dimensions of your being in more ways than the usual. So sort of feeling the breath, feeling how the shapes move and feeling the back of you and the sides and feeling all that in the space around. Now,